Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello and welcome, sim racing fans, to another thrilling round of the IRPAS GT3 action. This time, we come at you live from the legendary WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway. Tonight, we're nestled up in the hills of Monterey County. This is a 2.2-mile circuit, world famous for its relentless elevation changes. Come on, look at the corkscrew there as you head back down and through the mountain. About, I believe, 14 turns to work with here tonight on this treacherous road course, especially 75% fuel limits. It'll be interesting to see what drivers, and if any, can save a little bit of fuel to get to that checkered flag without a fuel stop. Welcome in here to Stam Studio Network. My name is Sean Stam, and tonight, we're gonna see a little bit of banging, a little bit of trading some paint, and a lot of nice, clean racing action for the IRPAS Racing Series. Both Pro and AMs making up the grid here tonight. Matter of fact, looking at our starting grid, Pro driver Andy White as well as Lucas Haller, Tim Reed will round out that front row. Tyler Reed, Gene McClellan, Shane Wells, Mauricio Ramos, Oliver Jansen, Marco Gelli. I believe I'm pronouncing that last name right there, Marco. Love you, buddy. Let me know if I am saying, I think that's right. Anyway, Jeremy Jukits right there in the AM category. He'll round out P10. How about Matthew Sherwood right up there with Jeremy Jukits, John Jennings rounding out the top 12. Nicholas Meyer, Mark Bray, Dominic Gacklau, as well as Dan Fendick and Jack Nunn, rounding out our 17 driver field here tonight from the elevation-hungry Laguna Seca Raceway. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. I appreciate, once again, every single one of you joining us live in YouTube land. Make sure, you got a little bit, you have a little gear either on the bottom right or top right of your screen, depending on what you're watching on. Be sure you bump the quality of this broadcast all the way up to 1440p. You'll damn well almost be able to see the whites of these drivers' eyeballs as they head up and down Laguna Seca. Appreciate every single one of you, especially the drivers here tonight that are about to put on a show. Looks like league owner made it out here tonight as well. Dan Fendick, he'll start there, the P16 spot for the 327 Fendi Ferrari. Let me know if audio levels are also A-OK down there in YouTube land below. Once again, thank you all for joining us here tonight. It's a quick 45-minute race. No competition cautions, no yellow flags, only local yellow flags. So we will keep racing pretty much side by side throughout this whole long race. Once again, 75% fuel. So will these drivers have enough fuel to make it, or will they not? Got 6 viewers right now there live at YouTube land. Welcome in, welcome in. Let me know who your race pick is to win here tonight. Will it be Andy White? Remember, Lucas Haller, just a week ago, he started up there out on the front row, but Lucas Haller finished P5 in the Pro category. Lucas looking for a little bit better run here tonight. Before we get kicked off for some green flag racing, here's a look at the points. You see Lucas Haller, even with that 5th place finish there a week ago from Bathurst, Lucas Haller still up in the lead within the points. Dan Fendick, Samuel Cruz, Shane Wells, Matthew Sherwood, Sam Bentley rounding out that top 6. That's a lot of back and forth between both pro and AMs. Only only a little bit of points separating those top 3 within the both pro and AM fight. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have waited a week for it here for the IRPAS GT3, both pro and AM racing league. About to get back to some green flag action here in a few moments' time. Alrighty, fans, get up, stand up for your life right now. Don't give up the fight, because here comes the IRPAS Racing Series. Green flag is almost out. Remember, we do have that orange flag zone here heading up into the turn 1. Side by side cams out here tonight, as top screen is the battle for pro lead. Battle at the bottom of the screen is battle for AM. Side by side so far. Now we're starting to single file it up and through that tight double left-hander apex of turn 1. Still side by side back there for AM as well. Looks like Oliver Jansen, he's going to take that outer sideline, lose a spot or 2 on this race start. Oliver trying to drop a gear and disappear down our little bit shorter chute of a straightaway, trying that inside line there over, I believe that is Shane Wells. Mauricio Ramos makes up a spot early as well. Here comes Tyler Reed, Mercedes AMG, losing a spot earlier on to Gene McClellan. Gene all the way up to P4. Heading down into the corkscrew for the first time here tonight. GT3 tires, something that has been revamped within iRacing here recently. You got to be careful with these cooler tire temperatures, cooler brake pressure, tires and tire temps, tires pressures, as well as those brake temperatures. Everything very cool at the start of a race. Gonna have to work things all the way up to optimal conditions. Lucas Haller loses a spot early on. Gene McClellan gains a spot early on, as well as I believe we got an AM driver. I think that's Dominic Gacklau with some pretty bag damage out here in the rear of the field. Excuse me. That's Nicholas. I'm still looking for that one, but Dominic Gacklau right now still looking side by side. Mark Gelly going to take around the outside line here to complete lap 1. Double left-hander apex into turn 1. What a nice move there for the Dominic Gacklau machine as he tries to now reel in Nicholas Meyer, Chevrolet Corvette GT3. That's battle for 11th and 12th overall. On board with Nicholas Meyer here, and look at John Jennings. I believe he's the pro driver, and just not really, I think John, matter of fact, blew the corner there, really screwed up the speed and the momentum that he was trying to carry up and through, heading back up the hill here at Laguna Seca, then back down it within the corkscrew section. John Jennings is continuing to reel in Shane Wells and Nicholas Meyer there while he's continuing to reel in John Jennings. A little bit of a slipstream train action happening earlier here on tonight from Laguna Seca. Back out here to the race lead. Andy White, he's starting to pull away with it because 2 seconds back, or 1.5 seconds back, Tim Breed Tim taking away P2 away from Lucas Haller. We got Samantha Hopkins down here, YouTube land, as well as Michael W. Terry as well. And Dan Fendick here. Dan, he continued to run P16, 125.58 last lap by. Oh, we got Shane Wells, an incident. No, Shane, no. Have to take a replay of it here. I believe this was after Shane had gone off the racetrack and then unfortunately finds himself spun back onto the racetrack, and these drivers just have nowhere to go. Probably one of the most important corners that you try to carry so much speed, so much momentum as you work your way back up through the hill. Shane Wells, he gets some he gets some gravel on the tires. That's going to present this car to be a little loose between these next few turns. You're gonna need all the grip that you can here as we head down and through the corkscrew. Looks like Shane was able to get away with that, no problem. But here's a look at the racing incident. Oh, it's all the way up here, heading down into turn 1 here. Shane Wells, I think it's going to be a self-induced spin, then has contact with another driver, tries to carry a little bit too much speed. Around the Audi goes. Oh, oh man, that's more than a scrape for the number 98 Marco Jelly machine. Oliver Jansen, a driver that we continue to see make the inside line work here from Laguna Seca. Jansen up to P6, and with Oliver being a pro here tonight, that's P6 overall, but P5 in class. How about Tyler Reed starts here tonight? Mercedes AMG GT3 out of Operation Motorsports. This driver continues to run away for the win, and excuse me, the battle for what was the AM class lead. Got Samantha Hopkins in here, I believe. I'm looking for. I thought we had Hopkins here on the track tonight. Apologies there, but so far back up here to the battle for what is P2 and P3, the final podium spots right now. Well, Lucas Haller's trying to force Tim Reed to that final podium spot. We are only 5, pushing 6 minutes to go in this long 45-minute races. Oh, Marco Gelli, just no grip left within the Team FMM Porsche GT3 number 98. We'll take a quick replay of it here. Oh, there you see it. He's got no front bite left in that machine. No. It's already off. That's going to present quite a bit of an issue as you try to make this. Oh, he takes a. Marco might have his pilot's license after here tonight because, man, Marco took flight. Here's another look at it. He's trying to chomp out of the sausage curve here and take a look right behind the rubber ducky racing machine. Oh my goodness gracious. Suspension going to work there for Marco. Keeping it all safe. Battle for P2, it continues to heat up. Now Tim Reed continuing to hold off a hard-charging Lucas Haller. This is a feat, it's pretty hard to do here if Tim Reed is able to continue to play some very nice defense over Lucas, our points leader within the IRPAS GT3 Pro-Am racing. Side-by-side cameras once again. This time we're going to have Mauricio Marquez Ramos on the bottom side, excuse me, the top side of your screen for Rubber Duck Racing as John Jennings continues to close the gap. There on the bottom of the screen, Operation Motorsports. I believe that's Tyler Reed as well as Oliver Jansen, I believe, starting to go at it there. Battles all over the racetrack continuing to heat up, continue to boil here tonight. Take a look at this one. This is also a pretty cool camera. We have Tim Reed, driver, running P2 tonight, gaining a spot from where he started. Live driver camera. Look at Tim Reed set up there for the Clark of James Mercedes AMG. Matter of fact, 2 Mercedes leading the pack here tonight. Oh, apologies, the last split screen shot, that was actually looking at their Tim Reed and Lucas Haller continuing to run nose to tail. I was looking at the back bumper of Tim Reed. Now we'll hop on board. You can kind of compare and contrast their live camera compared to the virtual camera on the right side of your screen. Speaking of camera, though, Lucas Haller continuing to shove that nose deep into the braking zone, well within that rear view, not even mirror, but camera limit on Tim Reed's front dash. If you're newer here to the iRacing Motorsports sort of universe here, well, these tracks, every single one of them laser scanned. These physics that, quite frankly, cannot be beat here within sim racing. If you don't have yourself a subscription, make sure, go ahead, get yourself one right now. This is a free track. Laguna Seca, you just get a little bit of a monthly subscription going. You can race this track for free. GT3s are going to cost you a little bit of money, but iRacing does have those free content as well. You can rip a Mazda MX-5 Cup around here, or a GR86, or even a little stock car action if that's what you're into. I think Marco has gone around once again. This time it's on the start-finish straight as he tries to get it looped back down and around. Taking a quick look at the replay here. Marco involved. I've seen Nicholas Meyer also with an incident. We'll have to see here what happens into, I think this is turn 14. Oh, just a little bit of contact. I think that's going to send. That was right there. That was Nicholas Meyer right around. Oh, nope. That was Mark Bray. There we go. Jesus. Apologies there. We'll get things back to moving and grooving after a quick little contact. Tim Reed continues to hold off that hard-charging Lucas Holler. 9.5 minutes to go out of this 45-minute race. Once again, what do you like? What are you keeping an eye on there live in YouTube chat? This battle up here for the pro lead. Our front four runners continue to run away from Tyler Reed. That Mercedes-AMG Operation Motorsports. 3 Mercedes. Actually, yeah, that's 3 Mercedes up in the top 5 there in the overall standings. That's pretty. Excuse me. That's pretty. That's pretty special there, because something that we do normally see, at least within my GT3 leagues that I broadcast, at least this season in iRacing, we've continued to see the Ford Mustang start to stretch its legs out here. But tonight, the Mercedes AMG is going to be the car to beat. There you see Mercedes P1, Tim Reed now P3 after Lucas Holler finally muscles his way on by. And then the next Mercedes, of course, AM class leader for Tyler Reed. Oliver Jansen down there for P6, right there behind Tyler Reed for AM class lead. But Oliver Jansen, he's going to have to pass Tyler Reed, because next pro driver up in P4 overall is going to be Gene there. Closest battle on track, Shane Wells, Matthew Stewart. I'm so surprised here. This is Marco and Shane Wells going at it. Marco's able to keep this 98 Porsche GT3 on track, although he does continue to run wide. Here we see a move out of Shane Wells down into the corkscrew. This is really not a passing zone here. Shane deep into the braking zone. A little bit of aji-baji between these two drivers. Marco has to concede the spot. What a move down into the corkscrew, little bit of contact, no harm, no foul. Shane Wells says thank you very much, up to P14 after Shane Wells has, matter of fact, lost 8 spots since the start of the race. My name is Sean Stam. Everybody, I appreciate you joining in here tonight. Go ahead, enjoy the sights and sounds of these GT3 Pro-Ams ripping around Laguna Seca. I'll be right back with you up here in the booth. Slowly crank this puppy back down, because we just caught the end of it there. Marco again around. That time it was into the corkscrew, and he looks like Austin Powers down there. He just had to keep it there, stopped on the race line, had nowhere to go, hit reverse, hit drive, back into reverse, back into drive again. Oh, he did get this damage repaired. So this is on a newer Porsche here, but unfortunately with those newer sets of tires just loses a little bit more grip. Then Marco, after waiting just a little bit more, then gets it back going. Damn, look out there. That is not a move you want to make. Keep your eye on the black box there, Marco. Respectfully, I mean, we just don't want any drivers out here tonight, because John Jennings, he came in there with the head of steam, almost had his front bumper blown off there. Let's hop on board with, matter of fact, the driver himself, John Jennings, as he almost just face planted there into the side of the number 98. Here's on board John. Look, so far so good. Oh, we can all right, we'll rewind this one again. Apologies here. This is a better shot at it. This here's Marco is around, and then here comes John Jennings down through the corkscrew. First gear we go, where he stops. Oh man, cat-like reflexes for John Jennings. Meow. Who let their cat up here in the booth? All right, Jen Jennings continues to run. Excuse me, that's John Jennings. Woo. Just anyways, Gene McClellan here, he continues to run P4, 1 spot gain from here. He started this race, Porsche number 91, continuing to be the meat in the sandwich right now between Tim Reed, Mercedes-AMG driver, as well as Tyler Reed, another Mercedes-AMG driver here tonight. But Tyler Reed is in a battle of his own, leading the AM category by a spot. He's leading Oliver Jansen there, and then he's got Jeremy Jukits there for running P7, but Jeremy running P2 in the AM category here tonight. Code 3 Racing for this one, the only here at NSX. Rubber Duck Racing, Mauricio Marquez Ramos continuing to have himself a pretty cordial day here today. Started P7, continued to run right now P8 on track. John Jennings next car behind. Although we do show John Jennings in the pro category, we saw his pro reflexes just a lap ago. Fortunately, not really the running that John was looking for here tonight. Nicholas Meyer shown P10 in that Shell Chevrolet Corvette GT3, also up 3 spots since the start of the race. How about Dan Fendick here tonight? He is our biggest mover, running second in the playoff points. Man, the Fendi Machine 327 Ferrari, Fendi Ferrari, you could call him here. Man, showing some real nice pace from Laguna, some nice consistent pace, works his way up to P11. Right there behind him, Mark Bray, about 2.5 seconds back, is trying to fight off a, once again, hard-charging Shane Wells, as Shane had dropped all the way to P13 earlier on in this race. Oh, we got Alexander. Alex, what are you doing here? Missing the race in IRPAS, Alexander. Well, welcome in here live into YouTube land. This is a pretty big miss for you this week, because, like you said, these drivers continuing to steal the playoff points away from you there. You continue to see you have a really nice run within this IRPAS. What are we in, season 5 already? But I'm right there with you. Lucas, I think, is the biggest driver we're going to have to keep an eye on if you're an Alexander fan, because Lucas, he continues to put down some real fast lap times, as well as continues to gain some very, very nice points each and every IRPAS race weekend. Ted down there live YouTube land. Welcome in here, Ted, saying go Dan and hey Terry. Matter of fact, welcome, or let's take another look here at Dan. Oh, Shane Wells there, just past Mark Bray, right behind Dan Fendi. So if you're a Fendi Racing fan, we could possibly see Dan fall 1 spot. Is just within 2 corners there. Shane Wells had gained 0.5 of a second. He continues to reel in Dan Fendick here. Look at the speed difference. That's already now just 0.5 of a second separating these two, which is 4 corners ago. Dan led Mr. Shane Wells by 1.5. On board with the Shane Wells machine here, as that rear diffuser of Dan Fendick continues to grow ever so larger in his front windscreen. Does Shane Wells have anything for the double left-hander apex here into turns 1 and 2 for the Fendi Racing Ferrari 327 versus the 99? Shane Wells tries to set up the crossover move, doesn't have what it takes. Oh, there is Shane Wells. He's finally able to make the pass happen there. Then I think possibly just giving a little bit of a point by. Door quarter clear for driver out of the UK. 99 up to P11. So Andy White here continues to run away with it, but I don't know if any of these drivers have enough fuel to make it. I'm curious to see if there is a driver starting to go into a little bit of fuel conservation mode. We have seen Lucas Haller, once again, time and time again within the IRPAS Racing Series, show that he has the long longevity pace within his number one this weekend. We're in a Ferrari for Lucas. Driver out of Germany, he runs a little wide there as we'll make our way up and through the corkscrew once again. I believe, if my IMSA knowledge is right here, this is a, I believe, 10 to 12 story drop. It definitely doesn't look like it here in the sim, but if you have been to Laguna Seca up there in Monterey, California, or if you've seen TV try and do it justice a couple times, I think it's a really nice zone to make up quite a bit of time there to the driver up in front. Speaking of time, here's lap time history shown between Andy White and Lucas Haller. Looks like a little bit of Christmas time down there, bottom of your screen, a little bit of green, a little bit of what should be red, but it is showing orange. Lap 11, Andy White faster. Lap 12, Andy White slower. Lots of back and forth there as it continues to run. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Lucas Haller gaining 6 whole tenths of a second. Last lap by. Andy White, Lucas Haller, then Tim Reed. Tim, the man who is tall and thin, trying to hold off that final driver interview spot in the pro category to a hard-charging Gene McLaughlin out here for P4. Gene, remember, he gained 1 spot. Oh, as Gene's going to run a little wide. That very white, very white, almost blinds you as you run by number 91, Porsche. Gene, he's still trying to hold off Oliver Jansen here. Oliver, another pro driver, but right behind them is Tyler Reed, first place driver for the AM category. We are almost halfway to go in this IRPAS Series race. Once again, thank you everybody joining me in here tonight. And that friendly reminder, you can bump the quality of this broadcast all the way up to 1440p with that gear in the top right or bottom right or top right of your screen, depending on if you're watching on a tablet, on your phone, or even old big old 70-inch TV. I know we got a few fans that like to make the old sound bar roar to life on theirs. In all seriousness, though, here we go. John Jennings, Shane Wells. Shane, he continues to work his way through this whole pack. He fell all the way back to last place earlier in the race. Number 99 starting to put it on John Jennings' rear diffuser. All right, so if you're Shane Wells here, the dirtier air between these machines, it's going to continue to make your Acura GT3 turn a little bit more tight, not have as much grip, especially through the higher speed corners. But you continue to see it here. Shane Wells plays some nice offense. John Jennings, I wonder if John even is looking in his rear view mirror right here, or are you just trying to hit your apexes? Real quick, here's a pretty cool shot looking at the front bumper of, Shane Wells here, and at the back bumper of John Jennings. Both of these drivers looking nose to tail here tonight from Laguna Seca. Who gets it done? Does Shane Wells continue to work his way up through the pack? Right now, he's got his first test. This is the first pro driver he's going to have to pass on pace here tonight. He's within striking distance here within the corkscrew. We've seen Shane Wells dive it down the inside of the corkscrew. I think John Jennings, he knows better to give Shane that inside. John continues to play a little bit of defense as we head back down and through the elevation-hungry Laguna Seca WeatherTech Raceway. Oh boy, battle for the race lead. Well, it's no longer with us, unfortunately. 3.3 second gap up here for Andy White. Lucas Haller still runs P2. Tim Reed, Tim P3. Gene McClellan, Oliver Jansen there, our front 5 runners still within the pro category. Tyler Reed continued to lead within AM category as we were taking a rundown at it. Jack Dunn, AM driver, had gone around. Hopping on board with him here. Tries to carry a little bit too much speed. Look, oh, that was a great shot out of the front bumper cam there. Jackie, he got the right side tires on the gravel, and within iRacing, once again, laser scan tracks, physics that cannot be beat here. Take a look, the right sides within the gravel, the slightest dip. That's all it takes to send Jack Dunn right out and around. Gene McClellan, Porsche Pro 91, Oliver Jansen, Porsche Pro number 20, Oliver. You can throw blankets right now over Tim Reed, Gene McClellan, as well as, oh, we got one going off track. That's, I believe, Jack Dunn this time again. Oh, he's way off track there. He's going for a play in the sand. Jack, we're not at the beach here, boy. Get it back on track. What are you doing here? Golly, that was a super long play in the sand there for Jack. He gets his tan going on there strong. God, that was about 10-15 seconds, way more than a slowdown penalty would result in. Here we go, first pit stop strategy action happening here tonight. It'll be Shane Wells. I don't know if, let me know what your pit stop strategy would be here tonight. Are you going to try and make the short stop strategy work? Or, matter of fact, I don't think that this was Shane Wells at all. Or excuse me, I know this was Shane Wells, but this wasn't a strategy call. This is too early for a pit stop. Man, Shane Wells, he had a drive-through penalty. I think we're already starting to see some penalties ensue here. I believe I was told in the race control here, 17x incident limit will be the first drive-through. They'll sneak up on you if you take a look in the left side, top left of your screen on the live timings and scorings. We will see here, it does Shane Wells. Oh, he's at 10x, so not quite 17x yet. That was either a quick little splash and dash, or matter of fact, did have a drive-through penalty. Here comes Lucas Haller. This was a pit stop here. I know Lucas did take a little bit of fuel, at least enough to make it down into the end of the race. I like the long run strategy here tonight. It'll be interesting to see if Andy White does pit this lap, but Andy, all he has to do right now is continue just to put steady, clean laps by, as he has a 9.6 second gap over Tim Reed. Here comes Gene McClellan. Oliver Jansen also right there with them. You got to shout out Tyler Reed here tonight, also out of Operation Motorsports. This AM driver is right here within striking distance of the top 4. Once again, top 4 are all pro drivers. Tyler Reed, the first AM. Now Tyler Reed is pitting. Also Jeremy Jukich right there behind. That's every AM driver here tonight, also including Lucas Haller down and into pit lane. I'm right there with you. We see Alexander asking questions down there in YouTube land. Michael was saying, no, it was actually a pretty clean and cordial start. I believe I got the race replay of it here. So this is, I think this was Andy White. Oh, it's obviously Andy White up here in the front of the pack. Let me take a kind of bird's eye view here. Start to look at the AM battle start to ensue here on this race restart. The race start of the race. Everything's so far clean, calm, and cordial. Here's when the orange flag ends. These drivers are able to get their elbows out just a little bit, but really no trading paint at all. Jeremy Jukich also with a nice, clean, and cordial start. 2 by 2. We started to look 3 wide, but settled it back down to 2, and ever so shortly after this, settled all things back down to single file. Alrighty, back here to live racing action, what I meant to say. Tim Reed is going to stay out here. Andy White, Gene McClellan are both into pit lane. Looks like Oliver Jansen going for that little bit of a long run strategy call as well. I don't hate that strategy call here tonight, but I think if you pit early on, you're you set yourself, your strategy is set in concrete. You just have to make the quick splash and dash off of the lane. You don't want to see these drivers go up on the invisible air jacks, as if you try to change tires here tonight, that is just way too long of a pit stop to take. Here comes Andy White down and out of the pit lane. Should see him cycle back out to the race lead. I'm right with you there, Eduardo. Oh, we got Eduardo Vecino. Real quick, shout out, Eduardo. Lots of these paints that you're looking at here tonight probably designed by the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm right there with you. This battle that is shown P3 is going to cycle back out to what will be the race lead. It's going to be the battle we have to keep an eye on here, as Andy White, remember, he started to pull away, but as Lucas Haller, he made his strategy, he made his pit stop just 2 laps before. If Lucas Haller has enough fuel to make this to the checkered flag, we could possibly even see this battle for the race lead heat up even closer than it already is. 0.6 of a second now. Oh, matter of fact, it'll drop to 0.7 of a second as Andy White tries to find just a little bit more pace over Lucas Haller. Alrighty, top of your screen is the battle between Tim Reed and Oliver Jansen off of pit lane. Bottom of your screen is that battle for the race lead. Looks like Tim Reed, he will get out and around in front of Oliver Jansen. Here comes Oliver Jansen. That's about a 2-second gap separating those two drivers. Looks like Tyler Reed as well as Jane McClellan make their way down, out, and around. Just 15 minutes left to go in this race. Once again, my name's Sean Stam. Welcome in here to Stam Studio Network. Enjoy sights and sounds here tonight. GT3's action roaring at Laguna Seca. Slowly crank this puppy back down. Andrew White, Lucas Haller. The battle, it continues to rage up here for what is the overall race lead. Lucas Haller, he's kept that gap right around. Remember last lap, it was about 0.5 of a second. Ooh, as we head our way back up through the hill down. And once again, through the corkscrew gap still. Oh, it was 0.9 of a second. Lucas trying to do everything he can right now to keep Andy White within striking distance. Once again, take a look at the lap time distance, or lap time history between these two. That's a lot of green, looking like St. Patrick's Day down there, bottom of the screen for Lucas Haller. Continuing to reel in. At one time it was 20.2 seconds, but that was because we continue to see the pit stop strategies start to play out here. Different pit stops. Andrew White pit on lap 21, Lucas Haller pit on lap 19. We should start to see this battle continue to heat up, though, especially with some slower lap traffic up out here in front. Who gets this all done here tonight? Lucas Haller once again retaining himself right within striking distance. This time 0.5 of a second back. Well done there, Mark Bray. That's nice racecraft. Gets right out of the way for the battle for the race lead. Alexander still hanging out with us. Unfortunately, you're not able to make it down out to Laguna here tonight. We are definitely missing you. Feel like you'd be right here within this battle for the race lead, as well as Eduardo Vecino. What are we talking about here? Getting ready for the exams. What? I'm in old summer break down here, waiting for the old classes to start up. The old Texas State's here in a couple of weeks' time. Exams got the old burning the midnight oil down there. It's Eduardo and I think Alexander. Michael W., if you're still hanging out there with us live in YouTube chat, we appreciate that. Hopefully you're having a great rest of your day, night. Terry, as well as Ted, every single one of you joining us here at tonight's Stam Studio Network. We continue to bring some nice racing action happening here. What is a battle for the overall race lead between Andy White and Lucas Haller. If you're a Haller fan here tonight, you better close your eyeballs because, well, the gap is continuing to grow for Andy White. Tim Reed, the man tall and thin, continues to run P3. Final driver interview spot for the pro category. About to am, though, Oliver Jansen. Excuse me, not Oliver Jansen, right behind him. Oliver sits P5 here overall. Right behind him, Tyler Reed, that's the driver, continuing to lead the AM category. Op Motorsports, how about it? But the gap is continuing to shrink also for the battle for AM as Jeremy Jukic, Code 3 Racing, the one, the only Acura NSX here on track tonight, only separated 1.3 seconds for the battle for AM. Uh-oh. Oh no. That's a lot of green for Jeremy Jukic. Matter of fact, lap 24-25, 6 whole tenths of a second, pushing 7 tenths if you like to round. Lap 25, almost 5 tenths of a second. We can round it back down to 4. My math is most certainly mathing itself up here tonight. Andy White, though, here we go, continuing to retain just 1 second gap. 9 minutes to go left in this race. Who gets it all done here tonight? Eduardo's saying can't wait to start staring at the old Alexander Hjahler's back bumper in no time. Oh, that's, man. It's you know, even with the 17 driver field here tonight, we do continue to see battles up and through the pack here. Well, the closest one being, of course, battle for the race lead. Lucas Haller completely blew the corner that time by. He's going to lose a whole tenth, if not 2. Lucas just trying to put it all out on track here. Matter of fact, pushing the track limits to, well, just to about to where I think, to where until he needs that drive-through penalty, or until he meets, excuse me, that drive-through penalty. Once again, top left of your screen. Ooh, Oliver Jansen, another close battle here. 16 incident points there for Oliver Jansen. Tyler Reed right there behind, though. If you're Oliver, you can't even run off the track one more time in this number 20 Porsche out of Fendi Racing here, because you will get that drive-through penalty. Tyler Reed continuing to close the gap here for battle for what is overall P5. Tyler running away from Jeremy Jukic. Battle for the race lead in the AM category. 47 versus number 28. 6th and 7th overall. Continuing to tick our way down and closer towards that white flag here tonight. 6 tenths, 5 tenths, ooh, just now 4 tenths will separate these two drivers once again. Battle for race lead. It's heating up, it's broiling between Tyler Reed, Jeremy Jukic. Who gets it done? Is it the Mercedes AMG power for Tyler Reed, or does Jeremy Jukic continue to show the long run pace here tonight? All of these drivers have now made their pit stops. It is just, if their gamble makes it to the white flag here tonight, if they have enough Sunoco race fuel in their GT3 racing machines. Here comes Andy White. He botched the last entrance and exit there out of the one of the most important turns here from Laguna Seca. That's going to present Lucas Haller with another little chance here. I think if Lucas is if he's able to get within about 6.5, 7 tenths of a second, that's where the slipstream range lies. I think he's just right out there without that slipstream help within our not too long of a start-finish stretch, but can really dive it down there into the double left-hand apex. Turns 1 and 2. Gaps continuing to stay the same between race leaders. fact, as I talk about gaps between the race leaders here, Andy White, this gap is now 1.05 seconds, as well as battle for the race. Oh, Jeremy Juke, we're setting it up here, man. This gap was the same the last time I looked at it, but since we last had cameras on the battle, Jeremy Jukic unfortunately losing out a whole second as he continues to try and push this Acura NSX for everything it has here tonight from Laguna Seca WeatherTech Raceway. 6.5 minutes to go left in the race. On board here with Lucas Haller. We'll take the old front bumper camera shots here because look at how deep Lucas Haller is able to get into the braking zone. I think if you're Alex, who are you rooting here tonight? Is it? I think you got to be rooting for Andy White as Lucas Haller. He continued to run within that top 3 in the point standings. You better run, you better hide right now if you're Andy White. Gap now down to 0.3 of a second. Lucas, he is able to send it so deep within the braking zones, but he compromises the exit. Here we're gonna see it once again. He is able to, get within 0.35 of a second, separating the overall battle for the race lead. Now that Lucas Haller is able to find himself down and around and well within slipstream range of our race leader, who has it here tonight? Do we see the immaculate defense run that we've seen the whole night out of Andy White, this driver leading the most amount of laps tonight? Or do we see Lucas Haller? He's looking for a top 5 back-to-back run. He's looking to try to steal one away from Andy White here tonight. All right, back down to a 1 second gap. What just happened? Is it the dirty air, or is it just how hard that you push these cars trying to catch the next driver in front of you? What was just 0.3 of a second now falls back to 1.3 of a second. Another side-by-side battle up here. Well, it's single file up here for the moment for the race lead, but between Gene McClellan and Oliver Jansen, my goodness gracious, 0.5 of a second. Well, Tim Reed, Tim's also right there up in it. Blankets right now, I'm showing over 3rd, 4th, and 5th place out here on track. Oh, really? You could count it both 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and including 5th here. Even at 42 minutes down out of this IRPAS League GT3 racing, we continue to see immaculate racecraft. Very nice racing between each one of these drivers here tonight. A little bit of aji-baji earlier on in the race. Trading paints once, maybe twice, maybe thrice if you count little incidents here and there, but right now, Andy White's going to be continuing to pull the gap over Lucas Haller once again. I think right now the Ferrari, at least Lucas, I don't know if it's a driver skill there differential between the two or just BOP differential between the two, but I think the Ferrari is faster within the slower sectors of the track, and then once we start to get back up and through the gears, Andy White is just able to continue to start to pull away with it ever so slightly. Here we go. It's a full screen battle of the one we were just looking at. Tim Reed, he only has 0.7 of a second over Gene McClellan for the battle for the final driver interview spot in pro category. Here comes Oliver Jansen, knocking on Gene McClellan's rear bumper. I got all the old tongue twisters out here tonight. Ooh boy. Okay. Well, I'm burning the midnight oil here tonight, working not quite overtime, but about to head out to the old local dirt track here, Cotton Bowl Speedway, one of the best, if not the best, dirt track there out of Austin, Texas. If you're ever out here and around the area, make sure you go hit up Cotton Bowl Speedway. Miss Ariane and H does such an immaculate job out there. One of my favorite things to do, and do a little drone broadcast work out there at the old dirt track. 3/8 mile over. Alrighty, back out to what is the ultimate battle for the race lead, coming to what will, I believe, be the white flag lap. Yep, there you see Barney, the flag man. He is waving it loud and proud, looking like a surrender flag out here tonight. 1 lap to go. Does Lucas Haller have anything for him? Gene McClellan, Oliver Jansen still right there with him. Alrighty, last lap here. We're gonna hit the old side-by-side once again, because battle for the race lead as well as 4th and 5th continuing to heat up, continue to broil. Now 0.8 of a second separating Andy White. Look at Tim Reed. Tim only separating 0.3 by Gene McClellan. Here comes Oliver Jansen as well, bottom of the screen. What battle do you watch? Does Andy White blow it up here through the corkscrew? Is Lucas Haller put enough pressure on Andy White? Or does Tim Reed have enough pace to hold it out here in front of Gene McClellan as well as Oliver Jansen? Looks like Andy White will get down and through the corkscrew A-OK. Only 2-3 more turns for Andy White to make this all official. These battles continuing to heat up. Gene McClellan, Oliver Jansen, 4/10 of a second through the corkscrew. Top of the screen, final time here tonight. This makes it all official. Congratulations, Andy White down and around, taking the checkered flag here from the IRPAS Racing League at Laguna Seca. Looks like Tim Reed, the man tall and thin, will hold off the final driver interview spot in Pro. Tim Reed to P2, Gene McClellan will take away, Tim Reed to P3, Gene McClellan to P4, Oliver Jansen will take away P5 here tonight. Lucas Haller, the one, the only P2. Here comes Tyler Reed, lights are flashing on that Mercedes AMG. Man, burn it down, both Pro and AM drivers here tonight. Tyler Reed, congratulations on the AM category race win. Jeremy Jukich not able to reel in Tyler Reed out of Op Motorsports. Code 3 Racing, Jeremy Jukich will bring it home P2 here tonight in Pro. And excuse me, in AM. John Jennings, botched qualifying effort here tonight. Works his way down and up through the race pack once again, but unfortunately, only up to P8 overall. That's P6 within the Pro class. Matthew Sherwood, that's the driver that I was talking about earlier who got their nose completely ripped off. I'll show a replay of it here as we wait for drivers to make their way to the live driver interview booth. I'll be right with you in a few moments' time. I believe, real quick, this is the Matthew Sherwood incident. After Matthew Sherwood, AM driver Nicholas Meyer. Matthew would take it home P3 in the AM category. Nicholas Meyer P4. That's 9th and 10th both overall. Okay, well that was Matthew just going for a little play in the sand there. Mauricio Marquez Ramos will bring it home in the P11 spot overall. Marco Gelli, Mark Bray, Dan Findick, Shane Wells, Jack Dunn, Dominic Gacklau, rounding out that 17 driver field here tonight. Thank you, everybody, once again for joining us here tonight on STAM Studio Network. Apologies if it sounds like I'm rushing here towards the end. I am, man. I gotta get going. Some dirt track racing action here. I appreciate you all, though. Once again, we'll get the live driver interviews, both top 3 of both Pro and AM category. Then I will catch everybody later here. But I appreciate you, everybody, once again. And hey, this is Sean Stam up in the booth. Andy White, you got yourself a copy.
How you doing, chaps?
Hey, Andy, man, appreciate you sticking around here. And what a run here tonight. What was going through your mind as you continue to see Lucas Haller get ever so closer? Matter of fact, 2 laps ago, he got well within 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, he was real close towards the end. I was starting to panic a little bit. I had a bad second half of the race. I was a little bit overdriving the car a bit. So, yeah, it turned out a bit nasty towards the end.
Well, that was a lot of fun to watch here, Andy. Congratulations on your checkered flag finish. Continue to put it up here into the IRPAS Racing Series. Real quick, before we let you get going, is there anybody who you'd like to shout out to, or anybody who makes this all possible for you tonight?
Shout out to Dan and all the lads at Fendi and IRPAS for putting the league on. It's a great league. I enjoy racing with you all, so thanks, everybody.
Hey, appreciate you, Andy. Have a great rest of your night, man.
Cheers, buddy.
All righty, Lucas Haller, how about it? Sean Stam here up in the booth. You got yourself a copy, man.
Yeah.
Goodness great. Lucas, I'm sweating up here in the booth just watching you guys go at it. I mean, back and forth, back and forth. You gave it your all here tonight, but unfortunately just wasn't enough to get the checkered flag. What was going through your mind as you tried to reel in just very, very fast Mercedes AMG of Andy White?
Yeah, I mean, I know his back bumper now because following Tim Reed as well for the first half of the race. Yeah, I know the Mercedes now. But yeah, I was shocked to be this close, to be honest, because he was qualifying a half a second in front of me. So yeah, and then also sweating a lot, staying behind him or trying to stay behind him, keeping the car on track, but it was fun.
It's I think one of Laguna Seca's really kind of characteristics. You push over just the limit a tiny bit too hard. Next thing you know, you'll be going for a play in the sand. Real quick, congratulations on your podium finish here, Lucas. Continuing to run up well within the top 3 in the points. Is there anybody who you'd like to shout out here tonight?
Obviously, you for your awesome broadcast all the time, and Dan and the whole crew for setting this league up.
Hey, we appreciate that, Lucas. That goes a long way there behind the scenes, and we appreciate you and everything you do behind the scenes. And have a great rest of your night, man.
Thank you. You too.
About it, Tim Reed, you got yourself a copy, man.
How we doing? You good?
Yes, man, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Oh, man, barely able to fight off Gene there for the final driver interview spot in Pro. What was going through your mind there? That looked like a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful for most of the race. There was a bit at the start with Lucas, but after that, just tried to keep the tyres in check and fuel save a bit, gain an extra lap, and yeah, Gene was running me down at the end, but I was a bit worried there, but we made it work.
And I know this is only a 45-minute race, but within this kind of newer release of the GT3 tire model, how were the tires feeling about 40, 42, 43 minutes within the race?
For me, they didn't feel too bad because I didn't catch any off tracks really, and I didn't have anyone pressure me for most of the race, so I was able to lift and coast, bit of fuel save, so mine felt pretty good. But during practice, I found if I pushed too hard for too many laps, they fell off about that time that you mentioned there, about the 45-minute mark.
Well, Tim, we appreciate it, and I know Dan Fendi does everything he can to try and make this league and create the best possible racing conditions. Looks like pretty good conditions here tonight. You'll bring it home, P3 podium finish. Tim, is there anybody who'd like to shout out or makes this all possible for you?
Yeah, every single driver that turns up week in, week out, because it wouldn't be possible without yous. And I love this league. It's friendly and good to race, good racing.
Well, Tim, we love having you here. Great side-by-side battles here tonight for a couple laps, couple turns. Congrats on the podium, and we'll hopefully catch you next week.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Congrats once again. All the drivers here tonight putting on an immaculate show to watch here. Man, I believe we're caught up here with the Op Motorsports driver and winner Tyler Reed. Sean's name up here in the booth. Got yourself a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, you're going to come away with the race win here tonight in the AM category. Man, Jeremy Jukic, this was something that we've seen quite within a few battles here. Within the last couple of laps, really started closing up in on you. Then I think Jeremy just got a little too deep there one corner. Final gap at the start-finish line, 1.7 seconds at the line. Nice run here tonight, Tyler. We didn't see you in kind of the car we always or typically see in that very heavy Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I went with a Mercedes this round. I'm participating in one of the AMG series, so I figured I'll put as much practice in with the Mercedes as I can. It's a good race too, and I've been watching Jeremy for the last couple races. He's quick, so I knew if I had him on the start, I needed to keep him behind me. It was a good run. It was a really good run.
Man, that was a lot of fun to watch up here in the booth. I want to get back behind the wheel so bad here, but man, you guys put on a show week in and week out. It's hard to miss. Congratulations on the race win here tonight within the AM category, Tyler. Anybody else who you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, just give a quick shout out to Operation Motorsports. Just trying to represent them as best I can. Also, Dan Fendick for putting this series on, and of course, you guys for the broadcast every week. So I appreciate it.
Tyler, once again, that goes a very, very long way here behind the scenes. We appreciate that, man, and have a great rest of your night.
You too, Sean.
Tyler Reed coming away with the AM win here tonight. Our one and only Acura NSX GT3. How about you, Jeremy Jukic? Got yourself a copy.
Yes, sir. How's it going, Sean?
Doing great here tonight, man. Ooh, boy, you almost had him coming to the white checkered flag there. 1.72 second gap at the start-finish line. Walk us through it tonight, man. What was going through your mind trying to put your head down to catch P1 and AM?
I really scuffed my qualifying run, so I knew I had my work cut out for me. Watching Andy, Tim, and Tyler work through practice this whole week has been awesome. They've got a really good practice routine, and I knew they were going to be a lot of trouble out here, and they showed it. Qualifying behind Tyler set me up really poorly. A lot of the quicker guys I was worried about had a couple moments, and it was just a matter of trying to reel him in, but I think I overworked my tires near the end and couldn't get that power down, and he ended up slipping away from me. But I love Laguna. This is a home track for me, and so I'm glad I was able to put in a good show.
Shoot. The world's fastest ambulance driver coming away with the podium finish here in the AM category. Jeremy, who we shouting out, man? Who makes it all possible?
First and foremost, I got to thank my wife and kids for letting me do all this crazy stuff day in and day out. I want to thank Dan for putting on this amazing series. This is the greatest group of guys I've found to run with. It's the cleanest, fastest racing I've found in iRacing, and you can't beat it. And of course, Stam Studio Network for putting on broadcasts that rival those we see on TV, boys. This is real life racing on YouTube. Check it out.
Oh man, Jeremy, world's fastest ambulance driver, Code 3 Racing. Man, we really appreciate that, man, and have a great rest of your night. That goes the longest way behind the scenes.
Take it easy, Sean. Thank you.
All righty, Matthew Sherwood, I believe, coming home P3 in the AM category, and then I got to catch the old, well, actually, I normally say catch the virtual flight home, but I can catch the drive to the old local dirt track here. Matthew Sherwood, final driver interview spot. How's it going, man? You got yourself a copy? Uh-oh. Alrighty, well, I think there's no Matthew Sherwood here tonight, so I appreciate you boys that are still hanging up in the interview room here. It means a lot to me, Dan. You heard the thanks here from, not every driver, but if they could have a chance at it, every driver in the league would let you know just how great of a job you're doing here. Immaculate work. Keep up the great work behind the scenes. My name's been Sean Stam here tonight. Well, it always is Sean Stam, but especially on Stam Studio Network. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll go ahead, catch you next week. I'm not sure where we're racing at in IRPAS, but you can see there in the iRacing UI. Have a great rest of your night. Take care, everybody. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. We are, pushing 700 subscribers. When I started this broadcast, we were only 4 away, so we'll have to see where we are now. Thank you, everybody. You all make this here possible tonight in YouTube land. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you later.